It can be preseason game highlights, camp clips, coaches' comments, hard knocks. It doesn't matter, because every single year people see these highlights and players start to skyrocket up your fantasy football draft boards. But should we believe all the hype? Because today we're talking about players who are currently skyrocketing up those draft boards, and I got 10 guys that we're talking about here today. But I'm also announcing the winner of the signed Deebo Samuel mini helmet from last week's video hitting its like goals. So, congratulations to Brianna Singleton. You were randomly selected as the winner of this Deebo Samuel signed mini helmet. Do me a favor, send me an email to info@thefantasyheadliners.com and I'll get it sent out to you. But today, I'm feeling pretty freaking generous. I'm feeling good. The football season right around the corner. So let's do another giveaway. How about a signed Bryce Young football? Are you kidding me? The #1 overall pick in the NFL. And we just have a signed football here from our friends over at Pristine Auction. And I'm just going to give it away to someone for free. I mean, the dude was just named the week 1 starter. His stuff is skyrocketing itself right now in value. Man, so how do you enter to win this football? It's super simple. Well, you need to hit the like button. You need to leave a comment down below so I have a chance to select you randomly. And then you also need to make sure you have a free account signed up at pristineauction.com. It costs you absolutely nothing. It is free to create an account on their website. Just be sure to use referral code headliners when you do so. We'll send you a coupon to your account. And if you decide to get something here in the near future, you can get a little bit of a discount on it. But it's still super important to get that account signed up, because that's why they send us all this free stuff to give away. Do you want more free giveaways? I think you do, so make sure you sign up for that free account. There's a link down below in the description, and once this video hits 1,500 likes, I'm gonna pick a random winner for the signed Bryce Young football. This thing is hot. But all right, let's go ahead and get in to the 10 players that are flying up everyone's draft boards right now. And then we'll talk about if we should buy the hype or not, and if we are, how high should we buy it to? And the one quarterback that's really skyrocketing up draft boards and is going to continue to for the coming weeks is Anthony Richardson, quarterback of the Indianapolis Colts, who's currently quarterback 16 overall, but he was just recently named the week 1 starter, and that is huge news. A lot of people expected maybe Gardner Minshew to get the start of the year. No, it's going to be Anthony Richardson. But what's really causing a lot of this hype is the rushing upside, especially when you pair that with the drama that's going on with Jonathan Taylor. We can see Anthony Richardson on the ground a lot more than maybe we even initially expected to start the year. He already showed glimpses in his first preseason game of what he is capable of. The guy's arm strength is absolutely ridiculous. A lot of people think he just sucks as a passer and he's more of a running back. That is the weakest argument I can hear out there on the internet. It's people who really don't pay attention to the film. Now, is the guy going to come out and throw for 5,000 yards and 40 touchdowns? No. I don't think anyone out there is expecting that. He's going to struggle at times. He's going to throw a few interceptions, but the rushing upside alone is enough to almost get him into the top 12 at the position. You got to remember, this is fantasy football, not real football. I'm trying to score points, and rushing points from quarterbacks are absolute gold. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if in the next week or two, we start to see Anthony Richardson being drafted in the 7th or 8th round. So when it comes to that, do I want to buy the hype? Yes, I'm buying the hype, but to a certain extent, right? We're not going to go out there and take this guy inside the top 5 quarterbacks at the position. There's already some established high ceiling quarterbacks up there, but I will buy the hype all the way up to quarterback 11, putting him inside the top 12 of the position, and definitely worth the hype. The next guy up, though, it's a running back. It's Jahmyr Gibbs of the Detroit Lions, currently sitting at running back 14 overall. And this dude just keeps putting together highlight reel after highlight reel where he's making defenders look silly and is running away from them so fast they're not even in the frame of the shot anymore. Now, I would love to be able to show that clip right here. Then YouTube copyrights me, and that really sucks overall. But we've seen Jahmyr Gibbs getting work on the ground and through the air. Lining up in the slot is similar to a quarterback's rushing upside, right? When it comes to the running back, that is pure gold when we're getting those pass-catching opportunities, and Jahmyr Gibbs is that guy. Plus, he's playing in an offense that's already had proven running back success. Don't forget, last year, Jamal Williams led the league in rushing touchdowns. He's no longer there, but we've seen this backfield produce points, and that is what it is all about. This year, Jahmyr Gibbs is everything that we have wanted DeAndre Swift to be for the last few years. The only difference is the Lions actually really like Jahmyr Gibbs, and that is a great sign. Am I going to buy the hype of Jahmyr Gibbs? Yes, buying the hype all the way up to running back 12. So no, not a huge jump, but definitely an opportunity for this kid to come out and surprise a lot of people. I said in a video earlier this offseason, kind of a hot take, I guess you could say, and I said that I wouldn't be surprised if Jahmyr Gibbs had more points end of season than Bijan Robinson. Now, I'm not saying that Jahmyr Gibbs is better than Bijan. I actually have Bijan ranked higher than Gibbs. I'm just saying it would not surprise me. That's the type of potential upside this guy has in this offense, buying the hype up to running back 12. But the guy we just mentioned is on this list as well. DeAndre Swift of the Philadelphia Eagles now. He's currently running back 24 overall and showed that big playability in his very first preseason game in Philadelphia. The issue here isn't talent. We know that. We know this guy is crazy talented at the running back position. It's really, can he get consistent enough snaps weekly, and can he stay healthy? That's really all that matters with DeAndre Swift, because if he can, the dude is going to put up big numbers. Plus, another guy getting work in the slot, which I love to see. Another offense that has a proven system for successful running backs. We saw it with Miles Sanders last year. We saw it with Kenneth Gainwell late in the year last year. Plus, now we get DeAndre Swift for maybe one of the cheapest prices we probably ever could. Currently running back 24. Am I going to buy the hype? Yes, I will buy the hype up to running back 18, but no higher. We've seen this guy burn us in the past, and I'm not going to overly risk it here for him this year, being that it is still a crowded backfield. What about James Cook, though? Another running back skyrocketing up draft boards, currently running back 31. And are we really about to see James Cook get 15 plus touches a week in a Buffalo Bills offense? I mean, we know that he can catch the ball. Dude is basically like a slot wide receiver that just happens to be a really good running back. But did you know in 2022, he was the leader among all running backs in the NFL with a breakaway run rate of 12.1%. That means that 12.1% of the carries he received resulted in 15 or more yards. That is a huge number. But he also finished third among all running backs in yards per touch at 6.3 yards. If this guy can get volume, he's going to absolutely explode. That is still a big if in this offense because we really haven't seen Buffalo really commit to a running back in quite some time. But like I said a little bit earlier, volume is going to equal production with this guy. He's not just some third down back. A great addition now before he gets too expensive as the preseason goes on. I'm buying the hype all the way up to running back 25, and really, that number is still climbing to where I could buy the hype all the way up inside the top 20. Keep an eye on James Cook for sure. What about Khalil Herbert? Chicago Bears currently running back 37, but all it takes is a 56-yard touchdown on a short dump-off pass, and the bandwagon is starting to fill up for Khalil Herbert. This is still going to be a three-headed backfield with Donta Foreman and Roschon Johnson, who look pretty good as well. Not to mention, Justin Fields is still going to run quite a bit. Now, do we expect the Bears to have a lot of late game leads where they're really running out the clock and pounding the ball between the tackles with Khalil Herbert? Probably not. I'm still really in the mindset here that if I wanted a piece of this backfield, it would be whichever piece that I could get the cheapest. And as of right now, that is Roschon Johnson, and that's the guy who I would go with in this backfield. Am I buying the hype on Khalil Herbert? Nah, not really. I'm going to sell the hype here down to running back 44. But then we go down to Achane of the Miami Dolphins, currently running back 41. And the second that Dalvin Cook signed with the Jets, the hype was off the Achane. I know, it was a cheesy joke, but damn, I had to try it. But what about the very first preseason game for Achane here? It was very interesting if you watch it back. He had great decision-making on the ground. Didn't put up a lot of yards, but on each play that he got the ball, he made the right decisions, and that's what you definitely want to see with a young running back. They put him on the outside. They used his speed to move the chains in a short screen pass. The dude is on par speed-wise with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, and this offense is scary fast. But what I really love about it is he's not going to be reliant on a deep ball to really put up big numbers. He's one of those guys that could enter halftime with like one fantasy point and end the game with 22. That's the type of playmaking ability this guy has, and in an offense that's built for speed, am I going to buy the hype for Achane? Yes, very much so, up to running back 32 and climbing. But now we go to some wide receivers. The first one up, DJ Moore, currently wide receiver 22. Now, we've done bought into the hype around here for DJ Moore as soon as he was traded to Chicago. It is still pretty shocking to me, though, to see how many people will comment and say how DJ Moore sucks. And I really find that hilarious. This dude has had at least 1,150 yards receiving in 3 of the last 4 seasons, and he's done it with a bunch of booty quarterbacks. A lot of people will then turn and hate on Justin Fields, and that's cool. Fields haters will hate, but the dude is just better than a lot of people want to give him credit for. Because this will also be Justin Fields' first season as a pro, where he enters the year with the same offense as the year before, not having to learn something entirely new. And honestly, that really matters. DJ Moore can really do everything. He can be a possession receiver. He can move the chains. He can be a red zone threat. He has that deep ball ability, and he's also going to get a crazy amount of volume. I am going to buy the hype on DJ Moore up to wide receiver 18. So many talented wide receivers. He can't jump up too high, but wide receiver 18, give me the hype on that one. But then that'll take us down to Jordan Addison, wide receiver of the Minnesota Vikings, who's currently wide receiver 37. We all know he's talented. He was drafted in the first round of the NFL draft for a reason. But the best things that he has going for him is playing opposite of Justin Jefferson, because he's going to command a lot of the defensive attention. And he also plays in a high volume passing offense. The Vikings throw the ball among league leaders in the NFL ever since Kirk Cousins has really been there. Addison is a route running specialist who has great hands and great speed. And don't kid yourself, he is a huge upgrade in this overall offense from Adam Thielen. It would not surprise me if we see Jordan Addison approaching close to 120 targets in 2023, and he could be a huge boost to your lineup. Kirk Cousins has supplied 2 top 15 wide receivers in 3 of his 5 seasons in Minnesota. Is it out of the question for Addison to fall into that category this year? Probably not. He's in line for some crazy production, and if you can't tell already, I'm buying the hype up to wide receiver 25. Which will then take us to Tank Dell of the Houston Texans. Everybody talking about Tank, who's currently wide receiver 73, and they're talking about him because he absolutely went crazy in his first preseason game. Circus catches, a touchdown, a route running clinic, just the full Monty, the full spread for Tank Dell in his first preseason game. Now, obviously, every week is not just going to be all Tank Dell in Houston. I expect to see a lot more Nico Collins, Bobby Trees, Robert Woods, some John Mechie. But does that mean that he is just preseason hype and we really shouldn't be excited? Not entirely. But I'm just not sure he's going to get huge volume week in and week out, maybe like a Jordan Addison in Minnesota. So I am going to buy the hype on Tank Dell, but he's currently wide receiver 73, and I'll buy it up to wide receiver 55. Now that's almost 20 spots that I'm willing to buy the hype on Tank Dell, because I do love the talent of the kid. And then what about, lastly, Richie James, wide receiver of the Kansas City Chiefs, currently wide receiver 95 and climbing, because everyone wants a piece of the Patrick Mahomes offense. But this year is harder than ever to know who is going to be that guy after Travis Kelce. You all know I love Sky Moore. We're starting to see a little bit more MVS in camp. We have the always hurt Kadarius Toney, the rookie Rashee Rice, Justin Ross, who's already banged up slightly, and then we have Richie James. But is it just me? Or does it seem like we've been hearing a lot more about Richie James than anyone? Now, that doesn't mean he's going to have the highest ceiling of all of these wide receivers, but could it mean that he could be the most consistently targeted of all these wide receivers and really flirt with 100 targets this year? We just saw him in his first preseason game secure a deep ball, be looked at in the red zone, score a touchdown, become a solid wide receiver in this offense, and could definitely kind of fill that Juju role from last year. Not so much in the slot, but what I'm saying is that he could be the guy that just helps move the chains. Doesn't get a whole lot of big plays, maybe occasionally, but is definitely a relied upon wide receiver. So being currently wide receiver 95, I will buy the hype up to wide receiver 60. Now, hopefully it helps with me saying where I would buy the hype to on these players, right? Because a lot of times you'll watch a lot of videos on YouTube where somebody wants to hype up a player, but they really don't tell you how high should you be on them. Cool, Tank Dell should be bought the hypes. 20 spots he can jump. But does that mean you should draft him inside the top 5 rounds? No, probably not. We want to make sure that we give you realistic expectations on these players so you know how early to reach for them without overpaying. Because the last thing you want to do in fantasy football is overpay on a guy that you could get rounds later. We're trying to make sure you guys understand the value of these players and not just overbuy the hype. If you appreciate that type of content, do me a favor, hit that like button. Remember, we got a like goal to hit so I can give away this Bryce Young football. This thing is straight fire. And even though I'm holding it in my hands right now, I can't believe I'm going to send it off to one of you guys for free. It's going to be a lot of fun. Looking forward to doing that. But hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. We want to make sure you dominate all things fantasy football in 2023. And then most importantly, do your part to make the world a better place.